Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Elizabeth Eleanor and it's pause, so it's Tuesday morning. I would love for you to say hi in the chat and tell me where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, please put hashtag replay so that we can come and say hi. It's love month. It's February and it's love month. And if you didn't get a chance to check out my live yesterday, I did a little bit of a breakdown of why we're banning Valentine's Day. A little bit tongue-in-cheek. As I've grown in this group myself, and the more the more awareness you have of things, the more you go from the surface level and you go deeper, right? You go into that deep dive and really pull apart the things that you're there to create impact with and to support other women with, right? And I realized that I was doing Valentine's Day and Love Month when I didn't actually really get into Valentine's Day. It was not something that was a big thing for me. I was engaged 2 years ago on Valentine's Day because it is a bit of a big thing for Tim, but it's never been a big thing for me. I'm not big on commercialism and the way we are dictated to by society of buy, right? I want to feel the feeling of it. I want to step into the emotion of something. I want to be in the frequency, right? And I remember distinctly when I used to ban all things, like I used to hate Christmas and all of them because they have become so commercialized and so about buying stuff. And, the frequency of it has completely changed. And then I got emotionally mature as I got older and realized that I can step into whatever frequency I want, and that there is a particular importance to rituals and to seasons and to celebrations that is it's moving us out of the day-to-day mundane and just this low-level flat line to having these little peaks where we step into a higher place and a higher frequency. And a lot of these days and these rituals, what do you call them, holidays or whatever, are based in old tradition of pagans, actually, right? Way back in the times of the witches and really just the healing, the women that were healers that used to be midwives and used herbs and all of those beautiful, yummy things that are in our cells, ladies, right? By the way, we have a natural tendency to lean towards those things when we're very connected to our feminine energy. And so I realized that those those powers, those energy points, and I call them illumination points when they're an emotional charge within myself, or a choice that's a really significant choice. But there's also that on a soul level or a collective level as well within the earth, right? These beautiful illumination points where we have traditionally, through ancient times, had a frequency of love. For example, Valentine's Day was taken from a pagan ritual, and I talked about this yesterday, so go and check out my Facebook Live if you haven't already, where it was actually a pagan ritual where they used to do animal sacrifice, rip the hides off the animals, and then beat their wives with the hides because it increased fertility, right? It was one of their beliefs. And so you can imagine how long that went for. Then they threw on top of that the whole story of Valentine, who was supposedly a priest that was marrying people that were in love outside of the rules of the time. And then there was another story of sending a Valentine note, a note to someone that they loved, saying your Valentine, right? So there's a lot of mixed messages and energy in there, but there's still this frequency of love on that particular day. So this month, what I'm doing is I'm really stepping into the frequency of love, and that's self-love and family love, and love with my lover, my partner, who does like Valentine's Day, right? And so here in this group we're talking about it, but I'm also moving into that next level and a deeper understanding with my groups, my behind the wall, as they say, my paid groups, Conscious Creator Circle and Call in the One, when we're really doing a deep dive into what love is, but looking at the other side of why it isn't necessarily something that's in our reality as a woman. And what I've come to, because I've been going through this and looking at it as I was preparing for this month, it comes down to feeling safe, right? And it's a big thing for us women, because not only have a lot of us had some form of emotional neglect or abuse, some of us have had physical abuse as well in this lifetime, but we all have some collective energy of women in general of this, neglect, abuse, trauma within our body from past lives, from generations past. Women have been degraded for centuries. And so the feeling of safe and internal safety is a big friggin' deal, and it's a big topic. And so this month we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into it in all levels of everything that I'm talking, from my clients through to this audience. And we're going to also, our monthly mixer this month is all around unlocking your inner voice and really being able to feel your feelings and express them, right? So when it comes to safety in love, what are the things that get in the way? Like, we have this cellular memory, even if it's not ours, that can get in the way of us feeling safe, and feeling safe in love, and feeling safe to open our hearts up and express our emotions, and unlocking that really vulnerable place that we have here, right? That little place that where our heart is, it's so powerful in there, guys. It's so powerful that we know innately not to just give it to anyone, not to unlock it to anyone, to keep it a little bit protected, right? And sometimes it can be little tiny things from our childhood that has held that barrier there, right? And it can be things like being bullied by people at school, being bullied by other women, by other little girls that didn't like the way you dressed, or the color of your hair, or whether you were too skinny, too fat, too ugly, too pretty, right? Like, I know women that got way too much attention, and that was one of the problems, like they were so pretty that they were shunned by other women because they were judged by other women, and they got too much attention by men. Like, we've got a big history around safety, and it's a really big topic, and that's why this whole month we're going to be doing the whole love bubble, the whole love month. We're going to ban Valentine's Day as just a one-off We're going to move into this space of discovering love on a cellular level, because ultimately your relationships and how you perform, behave, react, respond, interact, connect, all of those things, the intimacy that you have in all your relationships comes down to your internal safety. And that's huge, right? So even after all of the work, and I want to bring it into unplugging. There's two things that I really want to emphasize is the unplugging of the illusion, and how do you unplug when you've got this baggage, right? There's layers to it. There's layers and layers, and it means taking the first step. It means doing the work. It means having the intention and setting the intention that you're not going to feel controlled by what's happened in the past, that you're going to take some sort of ownership of where you're at, right? Because ladies, we're all adults now, right? And when I want to bring in the dimensions, because when we're in third dimension is separation. Third dimension is still us and them, good and bad, hot and cold, light and dark, all of those things. When you're in third dimension, you're still in that feeling broken, I'm completely separate, and they did something wrong to me, right? And so when you're in that's when the pain can be really intense, and the emotions can be so severe and so overpowering that they feel like they're in control, and they just take root, right? They just take root into the body, and whenever you want to move into something different, whenever you want to choose a better way, they just bring you smack bang back. No, remember this pain, remember this suffering, remember this trauma, and they just lock you down, right? Lock you down into that. So let's breathe and pause, because that's a really challenging place to be. And so when you're in fourth dimension, you go into the place of stepping out of that a little bit, right? You've got 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land, and you're starting to go, there's something more. There's a reason for this. What was my part in this process? And a hard thing to say when you were a little kid, right? When life was happening to us, is challenging to be in the place where you can take any sort of ownership, because you can't. At that age, you can't take ownership, right? But when you step into the fifth dimension and you recognize that everything is happening for us, not to us, and you can only do that when you move into that rational part, right? So when we're in our youth, in our childhood, we are in a brainwave frequency that's the same as being hypnotized, and there's no rationality, there's no discernment. It's just like you're a sponge, as they say, and you're taking everything on, and you are in survival mode, and you're innocent, and you're powerless, because you are in duality, right? You are in that place where, you need love and support and a shelter over you and all of those things. And you need your parents or caregiver to take care of you to a certain degree, right? All of those things. But as you mature and as we move into a different brainwave frequency where rationality, the rational mind comes in, we can discern whether things are right or wrong, and we can make judgments. Our conscious becomes more conscious. Now we can see from a different perspective, and we can look back on that little girl that had trauma in whatever capacity, right? And some of us had more than others. You can look on that little girl and you can recognize that she didn't know, and she did the best she could, right? And when you can start working with that little girl to support her, to recognize that her soul came in to experience this for whatever reason. Like when you can elevate to that next level, and this is the fifth dimension, right, where unity consciousness, and we're recognizing that the soul came in to correct particular experiences or correct particular frequencies, right? Emotional blocks that are holding the soul back from experiencing more light, more light, more light. When you can look back and you can support that little girl and see that she had that experience for whatever reason, maybe it was so that she could recognize that she was, had the capacity to hold the light, or to give her more ability to feel her worth, right? And for whatever reason, the whole system is that you feel the disconnect before you feel the connect, right? You feel the pain before you feel the love. And so all of these things are lined up that way. When you can really step into that little girl and recognize that she is here for a reason, and that she came in to attract these experiences so that she could really connect in with her internal safety. And where's your internal safety? Your internal safety is here. It's really it's your relationship with your soul. Because when you have fifth dimensional frequency connection awareness, and you see that your only relationship that's important is your connection between you and your higher self, and you bridge that gap, right? And you really step into that love, that internal safety, that connection with self. That's when things really start rippling out into your environment and your whole world changes. The chaos that can be created in your world when you're still in disconnect, when you're still in that place of these people did the wrong thing by me, and this is the way they were behaving, and you see them as separate from you, that creates chaos, right? Because you keep getting more of the same until you start moving into a place of correcting that thought and recognizing that this happened for the reason that it happened, right? And that's the whole journey. Why are these people in my movie? Why are they here? Why am I in this position? What am I here to learn? And you ask your higher self, what am I here to learn? What is this? So that we can move through it and move into that space of fifth dimensional unity, where things start moving and flowing and you start attracting more unity, right? And love just starts pouring in all directions. and you notice that there's this flow and you get these synchronicities of triple numbers so continuously that you don't even think about it anymore. You just smile when you see them, right? And there's so many layers to this. I remember when I was with Tim and I'd already done a lot of work on myself. I was in a really good spot. You know, we got engaged on Valentine's Day. We actually met 3 years ago on the 16th of January, so we've just had our 3-year anniversary. And I remember everything was going well. I decided to say yes. You know, we connected, we started living together, all the things. And I noticed, because I've got to tell you, when you get into a comfort zone, ladies, when you start getting into your comfort zone, whether it's a comfortable comfort zone or it's a uncomfortable comfort zone, right? Because you can have both. When you're in a comfort zone, your higher self will knock, knock, knock on that door until you start moving, because we are here to ascend, we are here to create, we are here to become conscious of what we're doing, right? And to expand our capacity. And so when you get into that comfort zone, something's going to happen. And mine was meeting Tim. And so everything was going really well, and I met Tim, and everything was going really well. And I remember the moment, I think it was the third time, when I saw him eating something that I particularly wouldn't eat. And I heard myself say for the third time, you shouldn't eat that shit, right? And I think the third time I said, I don't want you to die on me. And it hit me here, right in the locked area that I didn't know was there. I realized that the reason I was saying that was because my dad had died when I was 15, right? And there was just this little bit more within that heart chakra that was still hidden away, that didn't want him to die and was not going to give him my full heart just in case I was abandoned again, right? And I felt it, and I did my stuff, right? I did my recoding, I did my clearing, and I felt it open and dissipate. And I gave him my full heart because the wounding had gone, right? This is the magic of doing recoding and having something that you can just jump in straight away and shift the energy and clear it, you know, within moments, right? Within seconds, from the original place that it was from, right? Not even if it was from my childhood in this lifetime. It could have been from a past life. It could have been generational, and most probably was, right? But being able to have the tools to shift it in the moment so that you're clearing and moving. And now, because of that, being able to sit in this beautiful space. Now, we still have our stuff, right? We've still got stuff that we're clearing, and we've still got, and I'm going to bring up some of that through the month, of, you know, holding on and being in a relationship where you're actually connected now to not just your emotional corrections from your soul, but now you've got theirs as well, because now theirs is entwined energy, right? I'm going to talk about that in another session, another pause through the month. So, when you can clear the things that are getting in the way, those little tiny hiccups, those little tiny emotional bumps that can be actually, you know, one experience, but they've been huge, right? And the little girl is still holding on to the pain and the trauma, you know, and feeling like unsafe, unworthy, not good enough, insignificant, whatever it is that she feels. Being able to get to that place of releasing that means that you're going to start elevating into those higher dimensions where you're bridging that gap and you're closing that gap between you and your higher self. And then this internal safety Doesn't matter what situation you're in, you feel safe because you know that your connection to your higher self is the safety that you need. She will tell you when to move, when to jump up, when to leave a party, all of those things, right? You just feel strong and confident. So this is what we're going to be talking about, and doing some processes through, doing some fun stuff. Even though it's a deep topic, we're going to be doing some fun stuff in Unlock Your Inner Voice. It's our monthly mixer this month, and it's on, I think, the 27th, if I'm correct. Irene, can you tell me if that's correct or not? It's either the 26th or the 27th. I don't know if anyone's watching because I have no, it's not showing me if anyone's watching or not, and I can't jump on my phone. So, ladies, are you ready? Are you ready to do a deep dive into love and safety? And who's ready to ban Valentine's Day with me and to really step into a full frequency month of true connection to love, rather than the commercialized bullshit that's around with the love hearts? And it's already we've got 10 days, I think, before it's on, and it's just flooded all through the shops, and I don't know what's going on TV and all the things because I don't watch it. I don't let that energy influence my frequency. So, who's in for Love Month? I would love for you to put love in the comments, and we'll send you the link for the monthly mixer. We've got some really fun things going on in there, and we're going to do some shifting around safety, right, to bring internal safety into the body. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you next time. See ya.